What's up? What's up? Hello and welcome to the Tiny Room Battle Challenge 4, the final day, the Women's Challenge, and the Pro Division semifinals and finals. I'm your host, Daniel O'Neill, aka Guardian of the Disc, here with one of my best buddies, James Wiseman. What's going on?
Man, I'm so excited for today. We're at the last day of Tiny Room 4. We're going to see some amazing competitors in the women's division and the finals of the pro division. We've had amazing rounds so far, and I can't wait to see what we have today.
I'm going to keep the housekeeping super light today. We've got so much great action. I'll start off by giving a huge thank you to FPA, Frisbee Guru, and Ryan Young. Thanks for everything you do. If you're just tuning in for the first time and you don't know much about the Tiny Room Challenge, what we're going to see today is some of the hottest freestylers from all parts of the globe squaring off in head-to-head matchups. 1v1, best of 3 points, 10 seconds to show your hottest freestyle skills. We've got an all-star panel of judges that's going to evaluate each combo and determine who will pass on March Madness style. And we will, at the end of today, have a very brand new pro and women's Tiny Room champion. Can't wait.
And make sure you log in to tinyroomchallenge.com to fill out your battle pass. It takes 30 seconds, so even if you haven't set it up before, go on, you can pick your winners, and maybe there'll be a prize for the person who picks the most winners for this tournament. I don't know, but it's a really cool feature. You can see the probabilities for each player and how well they're supposed to do. You can see their ELO rating, which is their all-time Tiny Room rating for how well they've done. So log in. It's a really cool site. You can see the bracket live. It gets updated live. So go do that, tinyroomchallenge.com.
Actually, Ryan, can you give us a peek into tinyroomchallenge.com? Let's just pull it up on the screen. Love to take a look at the bracket. Here's what we accomplished yesterday.
This is
women's. Whoops, sorry. So we're taking a look at women's, but here's where we stand with the pro division. After a heated day of competition yesterday, we're left with just 4 competitors and an awesome storyline of the old school generation versus the new school shredders. It's Tom Leitner versus Dave Lewis. One of them will pass into the finals representing the old school to take on the winner of Eduardo Turi versus Francesco Santolin. I can't wait.
Oh my goodness. I just can't believe we're going to see a battle of Dave Lewis and Tom Leitner. And I'm so happy that one of them's going to go through and we're going to see, can the new generation take down one of the all-time greats? I can't believe it. It's kind of amazing that for so long these two men have been dominating the sport. We'll see what happens.
One other thing, I am shocked, but when you look at this, we've had over 111 competitors so far in the 4 Tiny Room challenges we've had. That doesn't even include the 30 juniors that we had last weekend. So just to say that we've come a long way with this event. I can't say enough about Ryan Young and the hard work and improvements that he's helped us to make, but just really cool stat to see everybody who's participated. So if you're twiddling your thumbs at home, sitting on the sidelines, get in there next time. We want to see you play. So with that, I'd love to introduce our judges for today. I'm so honored to have all 5 of these people joining our judging panel. Actually, it'll be 5.5 today. I'll get there. So let's check in first and foremost, of course, with our head judge, Freddie Finner from Berlin. What's up, Freddie?
Oh yeah, feeling good. Can't wait to start. We had a great beginning last week and yesterday was amazing. I have kind of a feeling that the more editions we play, the better it gets. And like each round is more exciting and more exciting. And yeah, it just fires me up totally. Also, I feel super honored to do that every edition again with you guys and especially also with all the other judges I've been able to judge with. Yeah, amazing event. Can't wait to start. Let's do this.
Cool. All right. So let's check in now with one of the best Frisbee flying disc athletes of all time. I don't think anybody would argue with that. We have live on our stream from San Diego, California, 11-time world champion, Juliana Korver. Juliana, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
It's so lovely to have you here joining our judging panel. You were, of course, the twice reigning Tiny Room Women's Champion yourself, but I know that you've got some important disc golf events coming up. Can you tell us a bit about what your season looks like this year?
So I'm doing a little mini disc golf tour. First time for me since 2004 being on the road for disc golf. And I'm going to hit they're all California tournaments, but I'm going to hit 4 big tournaments, and I'm going to play against the FPO in 2 of them, which is the top women's division. So I have been spending my practice time on the field instead of in my tiny room for the last month and a half.
Wow, it's so exciting. And please just know you have the whole freestyle community right behind you, supporting you. I mean, I think we've all been watching more disc golf through the pandemic. So now to have a leader, a champion like yourself to represent us freestylers on the disc golf course, we're all rooting for you. So good luck and
Thank you.
congratulations.
And Juliana, if
Thank
you're
you
on
very
the disc golf live stream doing some rolls or a scarecrow or a kerfluffle, we wouldn't mind. We wouldn't mind.
To get on that Jomez lead card coverage, maybe throw in one move. Cool.
I
All
already
right,
know that I'm on the feature card for the OTB first round, so there will be a little
Yay.
bit of coverage.
Cool.
Do it.
Let's check in now with, I believe, a Freestyle Hall of Famer, multiple time world champion, Carolyn Yabe Hubbard. Carolyn, how are you? We're so honored to have you joining us today.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Feeling really excited.
That's so good. I mean, I don't know how many of these female players you will have seen before. A lot of them I will be seeing for the first time. We have a huge generation of new female talent from across the globe that we're going to see today. It's super awe-inspiring. And I know that they're really looking up to you as well. So it's just a great way to bring together generations and players from all parts of the world. And we couldn't do it without you.
Well, thanks. I'm really honored myself, and I'm excited to see all these players from all over the world. And I'm impressed how much it's grown and how many women are starting to freestyle. And it's amazing. It really is. So I'm excited to be the mom of other generations.
Let's check in with Eyal Benin from Israel, from Tel Aviv, one of my teammates, one of my best friends. Eyal, miss you, bro.
Hey, miss you guys. So cool to be here again, to rejoin this huge adventure you've been pulling, all the crew. And happy to be here and honored again to take part in this huge panel of great players.
Just want to give a quick shout out, lest we forget, the World Championships will still be next in Tel Aviv, Israel. We've unfortunately had it canceled these past 2 years, but 2022, Tel Aviv, we're all going to be there. I can't wait, bro.
See you there.
All right, let's check in with our last judge. So I actually invited Gina Sample to be here. She's running just a little bit late. So for their first battles, we're pulling in some knucklehead other dude. What's up, Paul?
It's good to be playing backup. Backed up yesterday, backed up today, just trying to be in the background. Judging this stuff is getting harder and harder because it's both the skill level and the importance of the format, and the people are embracing it all over the world. It makes it very difficult to judge, but it's just so exciting. And Daniel, you just hit the nail on the head with this event. And I see great future for this event, no matter what happens after the pandemic. It's really bringing the whole world together, no travel costs. Just utterly amazing what you guys have done with this. And Freddie's getting much better as a speaker, as you guys have already matured yourselves, Daniel and James. And Ryan, obviously the the machinery behind the scene. I just thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for what you're doing for the sport.
Paul Kenny, Executive Director of the FPA, thank you for all you do and for stepping in on short notice to join our judging panel. And without giving too much away, we do have some pretty exciting plans for the future of this event format and this event in particular. So I'll just leave that there, but the next edition promises to be something very special. So we are pretty much ready to get started. Ryan, let's take a peek at the women's bracket and see who we've got in store. So right off the bat, we're going to see Lisa Berman from Virginia facing off against Julie Festus all the way from Abuja, Nigeria. The winner will face off in the second round versus number 1 seed Bianca Strutz. So then we've got Jenny Richner. Awesome story here. So the Switzerland team of junior players is very extensive, so much so that they had to have an internal qualifier for this event. Jenny Richner beat all 12 of her Swiss counterparts, including Coach Reto Zimmerman, to earn this seeded position as number 5. So Jenny Richner from Switzerland. I've never seen her play, but I'm already scared as hell. I think she's going to be really good. She will go up against Achuoka O'Blessing, a new player also from Nigeria. Love to see it. I think it's going to be really exciting. And the winner of that will face off against Mayra Pinhas in round 2. Going on to the bottom half of the bracket, super excited for this matchup. We've got Sarah Zimmerman. We saw her play last weekend in the Challenger division, and we're going to get another chance to see her. And she'll square off against Vendela Arviskar from Sweden, who we know is a very dominant player. She competed in the World Urban Games. I've been seeing some videos of her talent recently. I'm really, really excited to see this matchup.
Yes, she could definitely go very far in this tournament. So if you don't know who she is, watch out because she's coming.
The winner of that matchup will square off against Katie Gimma, quite possibly the crowd favorite from last edition's Tiny Room Women's Challenge. So that should be a great matchup there as well. If you're just signing in, make sure you mute your audio, please, if you're one of the participants. And last but certainly not least, we'll have the matchup of Eden Rubin from Israel versus Joya, the LeBron James of Switzerland herself, the sister of Jenny, Joya Richner versus Eden Rubin. The winner would have faced off against Paula Garcia, our number 2 seed, but unfortunately, Paula suffered an injury yesterday, cannot play today, and will have to take the DQ. So the winner of Eden versus Joya, very luckily, will earn themselves a bye straight through to the semifinals. That's a quick glance at what we have in store for you today. And then, of course, we've got the pro semis and finals right after. Let's get down to it. So here we go. Matchup number 1, Lisa Berman versus Julie Festus. Lisa, you will play first. So let's head now to, what's up, Ryan? Oh, okay, sure. So we'll actually skip that matchup just for a moment. Let's start off today with the matchup of Jenny Richner versus Achuoka O'Blessing. Do we have Achuoka, Ryan? Shoot, let's do. Yeah, I think those two players will actually end up signing in together. So if we can, let's just start down at the bottom half of the bracket. Can we do that, Ryan? Okay, so give me one more glance. Let's take the matchup of Sarah Zimmerman versus Vendela Arviskar. Sarah Zimmerman from Switzerland versus Vendela Arviskar from Sweden. So we've got the Scandinavian matchup here. Very exciting. Sarah Zimmerman will play first. So Sarah, you get to kick off our whole Tiny Room Women's Challenge today. We're excited to see you play. They've got this great 3x3 meter setup in their training space. So Sarah, if you're ready, we're ready for you. Ryan, we'll give you some music, and we're ready to see you play.
Vasha, ti dois și minute. Just give us 1 minute or so, because
Okay.
it's totally unexpected that she has to play right now. She was expected to play third matchup, but give me that minute to teach you a little bit of geography. You American guys, it's not a Scandinavian matchup. Sweden is in Scandinavia, Switzerland is in the center
Don't
of
put
Europe.
me in that camp. That was all Daniel O'Neill there.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, sorry.
That's my
about that.
payback that you mentioned that I lost against Jenny. That was just between me and you.
Sorry, Reto.
No, just kidding, guys.
I just got on.
Just
I'm
kidding, guys.
twice
It's
on
totally
Reto's
fun to
bad
be-
side already in the first 5 minutes of the broadcast. Not a great start. Okay.
Okay.
So not
Well,
the
it's so
Scandinavian
fun.
matchup. We've got Switzerland from the EU facing off against Sweden. That's all. All right, I better shut the hell up. You take over.
All right, I cannot wait to see this. This is actually one of my favorite matches of the day. This is kind of a brutal matchup because we know Sarah is a great player, and we also know Vendela is a great player. And we haven't gotten to see a lot from these players. Sarah's very new. Vendela's kind of been in and out over the years, but she's been in this sport for a very long time. I'm super excited to see what they both do. But Daniel, why don't we kick it off with Sarah here?
This is it. We're ready to go. Tiny Room Battle Challenge for first matchup, best 2 out of 3. Point number 1. Ryan, let's fire up the music. Wow. Absolutely beautiful starting combos from Sarah Zimmerman. She used the full time block. So for our judges, spectators at home, you can see that 10-second countdown in the bottom left. There's that little bloop right when the time ends. She hits everything right on time, finishing it up with a grapevine and a goddess. Great extension through her legs and an excellent first move to kick off the tournament.
Wow, that was really good. I love that she threw to herself. It didn't look like it had a ton of spin on it, but she used every ounce of it that she needed. Very smartly got 2 moves in the time. And that goddess is so Hain. Such a good move. A lot of pressure here for Vendela.
So heading over to Sweden, where we have Vendela Arviskar with the response. We've got the matching t-shirts on today. Vendela, you are up. Wow. Unbelievable first move from Vendela Arviskar. I think there was an indigenous pull in there along with a, let's check out the instant replay here. One thing I will note, she did get a throw, from someone off camera. We can imagine who that might be. Looked like it had a lot of spin, but man, did she use the best of it. Some great moves here and not an easy choice for the judges right out the gate.
No, and you are allowed to get someone else's throw in this division, but it's something that the judge can take into account. So you might get a little more credit here for throwing yourself your own Zs. Also cool to see counter. We don't see a lot of counter really in any division, which is really a tragedy. But Vendela as a counter player, she did some really strong moves. The one you pointed out is the biggest one. An indigenous pull is an amazing move. She pulled it off flawlessly, ends with a great catch. But we have 2 great, well-executed moves here. Very curious to see what the judges decide.
Ready, Finner, coming your way.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. Also, I'm still missing some votes. I think they're complete right now. It's hard to decide because also, as you said, the self set from Sarah was nice and just enough for the move. So she put 2 moves in a row with 2 catches, 2 nice catches actually. And we've seen Vendela with not a self set, but a huge spin disc coming her way. which is way easier to start. But then she went for this acrobatic, super flexible Tron and in-ditch pull and a beautiful finish as well. So it's really, really hard to decide. I hope we can see another move from Vendela also with a self set, so we can really compare the skills of both of them. But the point goes by split decision to Vendela.
Vendela Arviskar takes the first point and the advantage. Very close call there, I'm sure of it. But Vendela, congratulations. You are up 1-0, which means you will play first here in the second point. We're ready for you. Wow. So another great combination there. I do have to ask about that flamingo. Was it the same hand? Is that something the judges are going to keep in mind? Just to reiterate the rule, in one battle, we should have all new moves. But for my money, there was a lot of new content there. And
Well, I actually think she went for kind of the no spinning barrel. It's kind of this weird catch that no one seems to have a good name for. I think her last catch was kind of a jumping under the leg catch, where this is more of a flamingo with very good form. She really extended it out. It's actually funny because Joachim, her father, has this very specific flamingo form where he kind of arches his leg back. We can see Vendela adopting that style. Very beautiful, very graceful. Also did the great cartwheel, like hold. Awesome, awesome move. Looks very confident and putting a lot of pressure on Sarah.
Okay, so doors open. Sarah Zimmerman, you are up with the response, do or die, here in the second point. Wow. Unbelievable move there from Sarah. Great composure. There was a moment where she didn't give herself the throw she wanted. She kept under control. This didn't hit the ground, gave herself another great throw, and seals it up with a beautiful catch at the end.
Yeah, wow. I think she went for a flawed there, and I'm pretty sure she hit it. We might have had a little bit of a stream problem, but really great move. I don't think it's going to be enough, but this is so heartbreaking. I mean, this is something that happens, especially when you have players entering the tournament for the first time. A lot of the seeding is based on ranking points. So this is a really hard battle with two competitors that easily could have made it to the next round. And unfortunately, one of them is going to get cut right here. I have a feeling I know who it is, but these are such amazing players, and I hope they'll keep coming back because, wow, they showed some real skill here.
Very high level of competition to kick off this women's challenge from both of these competitors. Let's take it over to Freddie to find the result.
Yeah, judges having trouble to decide. Again, we've seen a beautiful finish from Sarah with a nice formed float. And again, the self throw, as you said, with a smart decision to not use the first one that she didn't really get how she wanted it. And we've seen Vendela with, again, a throw from outside, but again, a nice move. I have to say, for me, it was a repetition. It was pretty much the same, a flamingo catch with a little jump in it. But in the end, it was just cleaner and a little more content. And the judges don't all agree, but the point goes again to Vendela.
Vendela Arviskar with a 2-0 victory. Congratulations. You will pass now to the quarterfinals where you'll take on Katie Gimma. So stand by. We're going to do some of the other first round matchups and we'll get back to your next battle shortly. Sarah Zimmerman, amazing playing. You've got a very bright future in freestyle. We love your game. Thanks for joining us. So let's now take it to the battle of Eden Rubin versus Joya Richner. So Eden Rubin versus Joya Richner. Joya will play first. So straight back to Bern, Switzerland. Joya, the LeBron James of Switzerland, is up. Let's kick it back over to them. And Yeah, it's your turn to play. Let's just give them one moment to set it up. There she is with the headband. Love it. Matching disc and headband. Ryan, let's give her some music and see what she's got here in this first point. Wow. I absolutely love Joya's game. She attacks these movements, just no fear, twirl directly into the brush. Who needs the delay? Great moves here. Unfortunately, this is the thing with Tiny Room. She just kind of gets stuck up against that wall, which didn't help her catch that behind the back. But overall, laid down a really good move.
I feel like her headbands are getting thicker and thicker as the tournament goes on, which I love to see. And yeah, I mean, I love how she's using her skill set. I think it was really clever to use the twirl to lead into the brush and the catch. And I also just love the emphasis we're seeing from all the players where they're just focusing on these catches and really nailing them. I mean, she missed that behind the back. We know she can hit that in so many other catches. Probably not the start she wanted, but we can see all the skills are there, and I'm sure she's going to come back swinging. But the door is only a little bit cracked, so let's see what happens.
So now let's kick it over to Tel Aviv, Israel, where we'll see Eden Rubin. She had an amazing performance in the last Tiny Room Challenge. We're psyched to see you play, Eden. If you're ready, we're ready for you. Ryan, let's give her some music. Oh, yes. Very beautifully done and with a huge smile. Repetition for effect. Some beautiful flamingo pulls, flamingo catch. Really, really just a lovely set of two combos here.
Wow, I think I went on the record controversially that Eden got boosted in the last Tiny Room. I really thought she should have made it, but she comes back swinging hard. That was such a cool set of moves. I am learning, just watching. I remember this from last time. I love her unique way of setting herself her catches. You know, most people are kind of using the same set, put it in front of them. She's doing like a shoot into her own set. I mean, she's her own partner setting herself for these amazing catches. Great form, just awesome style. We could all learn from watching Eden.
So two really strong moves to kick it off. Joya versus Eden. Let's kick it over to Freddie to see who won this first point.
Oh, so beautiful moves from Eden, perfectly executed, just beautiful. And we've seen Joya a little unfortunate with the first drop just in the beginning, but I agree, she played super smart. She knows what she can do, and she's probably not on the same skill level yet as Eden, but she will be at some point. You can clearly see a high potential, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see more in the upcoming years. But yeah, the point goes to Eden, and there will be another chance now for her to show more.
Excellent. So Eden Rubin takes the 1-0 advantage. Right back to Israel, Eden. You're up here in the second point. Lovely curtsy on both sides. For a split second there, I was really nervous. I was going to have to look at my own face throughout that whole 10-second move. But we did cut over just in time to see what she did. She ends with a really nice chest roll. It seemed a bit safe, though. I think Joya, the door might be open for her.
Yeah, I think she was a little safe, maybe a little too confident. She just goes for the one move, left a lot of time on the table. But it was a great move. I mean, one thing I like that I could see already from her game is she always adds the second restriction. So not only did she do a behind the back pull, she takes that pull right under her leg. So she really doubles the level of restriction there. That makes the move a lot harder. Great form, great attitude. Just, I love the little curtsy, these little details. Really strong. But Joya, you've got a whole 10 seconds to work with. I think you really have a shot here.
Okay, Joya, door's open for you. Let's see if you can press a third point. Yes! I absolutely love this combo. Just total speed flow, no delay needed. This first throw, look at the instant replay. Behind the back throw, directly into the lefty under the leg catch. So much variety, so much content. Just great skills from Joya. I'm fired up.
Wow, she's ferocious. She looks so intense. She's so into it. She gets so many catches. I mean, that's this thing we've seen from Switzerland. They are just feeling the 10 seconds with lots of catches. I think she definitely put the pressure on the judges. And I think, maybe even Eden wanted a third point. I mean, we just all need more Joya in our lives. She's such a great player. Awesome, awesome moves, really. And let's see what the judges say about it.
Yeah, still waiting for some votes. They're just coming in. Yeah, we've seen a beautiful move again from Eden, but she took it a little very casual and just used half the time that was available. Probably she thought it's going to be enough, or she wasn't sure about how much time she has left. I'm not very sure about that. But then we saw Joya, and you can clearly see, I think, the Reto Zimmermann school is one of the best in the world, probably. And you can see how she trains and how she gets a huge variety in the very beginning of her life lessons of freestyle. And yeah, we have a split decision, but the judges agreed that this amount of tricks that we've seen from Joya was worth a little more than the short trick from Eden, so we can see a third round.
So there you have it, 1-1. Joya, you will play first. This is it, the third and final point of this battle. This can earn you a spot in the next round. You are up first to play. Let's kick it back over to Bern, Switzerland, and give her some music. Ooh, wow. Very nicely done. A very similar style, but totally new catches across the board. Some repetition for effect. Grapevine one side, Grapevine the other side. Using both hands to throw and catch. Just great skills here from Joya and putting some good pressure on. And that Swiss chair that eluded some of the juniors last weekend was no match for Joya. She chomps it home, seals it up, and puts a lot of pressure on Eden.
I mean, that was really amazing. We've seen this from all the Swiss players too, which is they're in their third point, and you think surely they've kind of exhausted their repertoire, and yet their best moves come out, which also shows you the confidence. They know they're either going to win it or take it to a third point, and they save the best for last. And with all the catches they're putting in the 10-second block, Joya still had all these catches to throw in there. She had one little mistake. So on the very first move, she sets it up, does this really cool move we saw from Tim last time where she's tipping it into the catch. She kind of missed it a little bit, but she managed to save it without breaking up the flow. Love the symmetric grapevine set to grapevine catch. Good share, and boy, Eden, big pressure here. So let's see what you got. Big move from you.
Don't listen to James, Eden. You play your game. You do your thing. We're ready for you. Wow. So this is very interesting. Ryan, I definitely want to see the replay here. She was so fired up. She threw right before the music some great leg overs, a kick tip, probably the first kick tip we've seen today. And she also goes for this, grapevine catch, possibly throwing a little shade back in the Swiss direction.
Yeah, I really like this. And this is going to be a tough one to judge because I think we saw more deeper skills from Eden. I mean, we see the roll, which we all know is super hard, especially among newer players. We see more delay. We see the foot tap. But, catch for catch, Joya had a little more there. So I don't know how the judges are going to see that. But one subtle thing I really loved about what Eden just did, not only did she catch the grapevine, she then kind of just brings it out. She flips her leg out, brings the catch out, really emphasizes, puts a point on it. And just really, really solid move from Eden.
Do not envy the judges in this case. Before we talk to Freddie, I would like to check in with another of our judges. Let's just talk with Carolyn Yabe if we can. Carolyn, what have you noticed in these first couple battles here at the women's division of the Tiny Room Challenge?
I'm so impressed of the players being able to use both sides of their body and react quickly and recover and then come up with something new in the third round. It's just like props. It's very impressive.
Props from Carolyn Yabe, Hall of Famer. So great job from both players. Hopefully I bought you a moment, Freddie, but I'm kicking it back your way for the result.
Yeah, I absolutely needed that time, or let's say we all did. Yeah, we've seen a great round from Joya again with a huge amount of catches, and she didn't repeat a single one in the whole 3-point round. This is amazing. And also I love this little reflection or tip back, whatever that is. Beautiful, even if there was a little bubble, as James mentioned. Then we've seen Eden, and I love it that she heard us. She heard what we said, and she went for a second move to make sure there's going to be enough content to compare. Also, what I really like is when she started her move, she couldn't wait to start. And after the first move, you could clearly see her face, and she was smiling in a very, very relaxed way. And she doesn't seem to be very nervous. She earned my point. She earned another one, but Joya earned 3 points, and the round goes to Joya.
I can't believe it once again. Eden has been shut out despite a wonderful performance. Eden, I'm heartbroken for you. Oh, you played so great.
I mean, wow. I just have to say, though, Eden is amazing. I think she could win the whole tournament. She's just getting just awful luck. I think she hit all of her moves here. I cannot believe what she's doing. She's an amazing player. I hope one day I'll have the privilege of competing with her. I can't wait to just jam with her. Eden, wow, please come back. We need more of your game. I really, really think you could win the whole thing. So don't be discouraged by this bad luck. Amazing play. The world is watching. We're all on notice.
Having said that, the Swiss LeBron James takes it down. Joya Richner will advance to the next round where she will take on, in winning that battle, Joya has actually already won 2 battles because Paula Garcia, unfortunately, is injured, cannot play today. So Joya Richner has earned a spot all the way to the semifinals. So Joya, rest, drink your juice, sit tight. We're not going to see you play for a while, but you, my friend, are a semifinalist here at the Tiny Room Challenge. Let's circle back to the top of the bracket and take the battle of Lisa Berman versus Julie Festus. We now have both competitors live on the stream. Let's start with Lisa Berman. So live from Virginia. Lisa, we're psyched to see you play. If you're ready, we'll give you some music. Nice stuff from Lisa. Good way to start it off. What you can see, though, is like Eden, as you said, as Freddie said, has so much ease in her face. Lisa, it looks like she's kind of fighting with some of these movements. I mean, she does ultimately get some content on the board, does a really nice grapevine catch, but have some fun with it. Trust yourself, Lisa. You're a great player.
Yeah, I mean, especially for newer players, you kind of got to get used to competing. You're kind of figuring out what you're like when the pressure's on. And I think Lisa is still figuring that out. But I think she made some really smart moves here that she didn't make in previous times in the challenge. So one thing I like is her going for the vertical self-set rather than the flat self-set. Self-setting is so hard, especially for newer players. It's really hard to get spin on. And a lot of players find that the more angled set is going to be a lot easier for them and a lot safer. Now, she missed it at first, but she puts her hand up, resets, goes for it again, shows a little content, and then takes a page out of the Swiss book, sets herself up for a nice catch to just get on the board. Smart move from Lisa.
All right, so heading over to a whole new part of the world, Abuja, Nigeria. We have Julie Festus on the line. Julie, we're so psyched to have you here with us. And if you're ready, we're ready for you. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, amazing moves from Julie. That second chest roll was after time. I don't think it's gonna matter. Okay, first of all, let's point out the elephant in the room. She's playing with an X disc. This is the pro women's division, but there's no restriction on what disc you can play with. Obviously, the judges will take that for what it's worth. But nevertheless, some really great control and skills. I mean, X-Disc Sky Styler, it's not easier one way or another to do those chest rolls.
Yeah, I think that was the part that was really smart of her. So she starts off with these delay moves, but it's with an X-Disc. So that makes it much, much easier, and the judges are going to take that into consideration. But the smart part is she also added these moves where it doesn't matter that it's an X-Disc. Doing the chest roll like that or doing the catches like that, it's really just as hard with an X-Disc as it is with a Sky Styler. And I think by doing that, she made sure that the judges don't have a difficult weighing of Sky Styler versus X-Disc. I think she showed enough, but let's take it over to Freddie and see if he agrees.
Yeah, it's hard to compare a Sky Styler versus an X-Disc, but we've seen Julie like mastering the X-Disc and also using the outer rim, which is exactly what Lisa has done with the Sky Styler. And this is probably why the judges all agreed that it was enough. Also, by the amount of tricks and the content she showed, it was enough for Julie to take the first point.
Okay, Julie Festus, congratulations. You take the 1-0 advantage. So we're going right back to Abuja to see you play once again here in the second point. Wow, great stuff once again from Julie, knowing to stay right within the time, catching that under the leg right as the time expired. That part was going to be so cool. Tipping an X-Disc in the center is so challenging. Not surprised that that one got away from her, but she didn't let it faze her. Big smile on her face the whole time and put a lot of great moves down.
Yeah, even though she didn't really hit the tip, she got one, and even one is an accomplishment with an X-Disc. It's so hard to do. I can't even really wrap my head around it. And she got a really solid catch in, so I think she definitely laid down what she needed to, but it's going down to Lisa to see if she can respond.
Okay, Lisa, back to you, back to Virginia. You're up. Wow. Great moves there from Lisa. This was so smart. She sees that her competitor laid down a move. She knows that she needs to execute, and she does. Great rim delay, great skills across the board, keeps the disc totally off the ground. And I think that Lisa may have just pushed a third point.
I agree. Clearly major improvement, not only from the last battle, but from the last times we've seen her here. She starts out with a self-set counter, showing us that she can do both clock and counter. That's huge, especially to see from a new player. And I love the roll. I'm calling it the Swiss style now. I love just getting in all these moves when you're a newer player and you might not be able to rely on a 10-second delay-based combo, really laying in a lot of content. And I think that should easily be enough for the judges.
All right, Freddie, back to you for the result of the second point.
Wow, nice improvement by Lisa. I mean, we've seen also difficult stuff from Julie. As you said, tipping with an X-Disc is way harder than with a Sky Styler. And then we have seen Lisa improving a lot and showed a nice variety that we haven't seen from her yet in this competition. And yeah, she pushed it to a third point.
Yeah, congratulations, Lisa. Well done. this is a 1-to-1 matchup, really well matched, very exciting. So Lisa, you know what this means. You've got one more move to show us. This is it, the third and final point, and you will play first. Ryan, let's give her some music. Wow. So once again, this was well noted that she did counter the second time, clock the first time. She goes upside down counter here. But unfortunately, it kind of took all 10 seconds for her to try to establish that control. So the door is open, needless to say, if Julie has something left in the tank.
Yeah, and I gotta respect her going for it 3 times. I mean, it's not the best strategic move, obviously, but she knew what she wanted to do. She wanted to try it, and she went for it. And we can see that the skill is there, but it's really the self-set that got her. And this is something that's so hard for new players. You have all these moves ready to go, but you can't always generate them yourself when you're dealing with your own self-set. But we know Lisa will get there. We've seen a quantum leap from her just between the last tiny room and this tiny room. And it's not over yet, though, so we got to take it over to Julie and see if she can respond.
So, Julie, a lot of strategy here. You have one more move to show us here, and this could earn you a spot in the next round. Let's see you play. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is going to be a little difficult for the judges. I mean, Julie definitely had a lot more variety, at least attempted, but she did drop it twice, I think, in this 10-second combo, where Lisa, despite the fact that she tried and didn't get that upside down delay those 3 times, she kept the disc off the ground. Which way do you see this falling?
I don't know. It's tough too because I think the best part of Julie's move was the chest roll, but we already saw her do that. She did go for a new catch behind the back, but she didn't hit that either. I mean, it's really tough. Like I maybe the variety pushes me one way, but it's tough because a lot of that variety was with the X disc in the way that the X disc is really easy, right? I mean, she has it just in the cone of the X disc. She's just kind of moving it around, but it's hard to give it to 3 attempted delays that didn't work. So I think maybe in my book it goes to Julie, but it's a tough one for the judges.
Okay, let's kick it back over to Freddie. Reminder to everyone participating to mute your mics. Freddie, we're kicking it back to you.
I'm sorry, I'm not ready yet. Judge is having trouble again to make a decision. Maybe you want to ask someone else first and then come back to me and I'll give you our decision.
Sure. I think Paul Kenny would be a good person to check with if we still got him on the stream. It's really hard to kind of judge these 2 different discs, 2 different styles altogether. Like, what goes into your thought process on something like this?
Yeah, it's a real tough challenge just because, you know, like you said, Julie had a bigger variety pack, but you had the crutch of the cone of the X disc for much of it other than what she repeated. And Lisa really going for the upside down. Now she's lost the ability to use the rim. So that, you know, gives her, you know, another restriction that you just take into account. Just even delaying it is an extremely valid skill because you can't use the rim at all. So I went back and forth and I battled myself. And I'm still not sure I got what I think is a comfortable decision because there's an apple and orange thing there. And it's just so equally balanced for me in terms of what was valuable for both.
Yeah, really interesting observation about the upside down part of the disc and that inability to rely on the rim if you do fall off center. So props to Lisa once again for really trying to demonstrate a very difficult skill in that upside down counter delay. Was it enough? Freddie, do you have the answer for us?
I do have an answer now. First, I want to say both of the ladies have a really nice and really tiny room. Julie inside and Lisa on a kind of a balcony. thing. So they both have to the right and left side very limited space. So props for that. Then we've seen Lisa going for this upside down delay. And I disagree with you, James, this time. I think it was a perfect strategy, actually. It was exactly, she knew exactly that this is something that Julie can't beat with an X disc. Okay, I mean, it didn't work out. She needed all the 10 seconds to show us that she's able to do it, but in the end, she could show that she's able to delay the disc upside down from a self set. And Julie showed us a couple of repetitions, but obviously in total a better variety, and a couple drops in between as well. So both of the moves weren't clean, weren't quite what they wanted. And we have a split decision here with 2 points and 3 points, and the 3 points went to Julie.
Julie Festus, Abuja, Nigeria. I think this is the first battle won by a Nigerian competitor. Julie, this is huge. Congratulations. You pass along to the next round where you will take on the reigning champion herself, Bianca Strunz. So congratulations. A match very well fought and won. Lisa Berman, same can be said to you. Very well played, and we'll see you in the next challenge. So just one more battle here in round one. We've got Jenny Richner, the Swiss qualifying top seed, versus Achuoka O'Blessing. So Achuoka from Nigeria, do we have you on the line? Julie, do we have Achuoka?
No, she's ill. I don't know, but I don't think she's online.
Shoot. Okay. I think that Achuoka couldn't. I think she can't make it. I'm just like reading the notes to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that she's not going to make it. Bummer. Okay, so Jenny Richner will pass to the second round by DQ. So we're getting, it's kind of good because we're running short on time here. We've got so much left to get through. So if we can move her along, I can see in that TBD spot, we need to move Vendela Arviskar versus Katie Gimma in that third position. So here are your quarterfinalists: Bianca Strunz versus Julie Festus, Jenny Richner versus Mayrav Pinhas, Katie Gimma versus Vendela Arviskar, and Joya Richner versus Paula Garcia. That's a DQ, and Joya passes. So let's now go for the battle of Jenny Richner versus Mayrav Pinhas. So Jenny, you will play first. It's the first time we're getting to see you play today. Super excited. So this is your second round matchup. You already won your first matchup by DQ, but we're coming to see you play now. So you're up in this second round matchup. Best 2 out of 3. Let's give her some music. Yes. Way to lay it down from Jenny. The Swiss style.
Chair. The Swiss chair got her. We got to send someone out there with some real chair skills to really clean it up. The Swiss chair has just been eating these players alive, but we know she can do it. We've never seen her before, but she's coming out super strong. Great catches, great twirling skills. I just want to say, we know how good Mayrav is, but I picked Jenny on the battle pass just on the strength of the Swiss players we've seen so far. They're coming out so strong. It seems like there's an unending line of great Swiss players, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Okay, so let's kick it over to Tel Aviv, Israel. We're slightly outside. Herzliya, maybe? Can't remember. Anyway, Israel, Mayrav Pinhas, you are up. Let's give her some music. Oh yes, what a move from Mayrav Pinhas, so cool, calm, and collected. It looked like she did the whole thing in slow-mo.
This is one of my favorite things about Mayra. We've seen it in every turn. She just takes this calming breath right before she plays, and she always just does the cleanest, smoothest move. Really awesome moves that you don't see a lot from anybody. I mean, the kind of chair move, which is so cool. I don't even know what we call that. Really great Bosis catch. You don't see that very often. It's coming back into style via Ted Oberhaus to Daniel O'Neill. Like, just a great, great move. Happy to see it. And wow, great power play from Mayrov.
Yeah, that's a huge power play from Mayrov. I think it's going to be enough. Let's check it out if the judges agree. Freddie, do you have a result for us?
It's nice again to see the Reto Zimmermann school. I'm sure there's a lot more to see from Jenny as well, but Mayrov just brought it home easily with a super smooth move and very clever as well. So let's see the next round. This point goes to Mayrov.
Mayrov, congratulations. You take the 1-0 advantage, and we're coming right back to Israel. You're up in the second point. Wow. Once again, just totally dominating that combo. Super clean.
Wow.
Nice tip directly into the pole. Let's watch the instant replay.
So again, we see the double restriction, just the behind the back pull straight into under the leg, into a triple fake. I love her catch variety. I mean, everyone knows about the triple fake and Bosis, but not that many people do them.
Yeah.
And not that many people do them often. So it's really cool to see them emphasized in the round. Really clean move. I also appreciate that she's doing a self set. It's a great self set. It comes out very clean, but it doesn't have a ton of spin on it. It doesn't look like she's trying to put a ton of spin on it, but she has that skill that really top players have, which is they can maintain the spin. She's just using so little spin on these poles because she has such perfect control. Saves it all for a great catch. Pressure is on.
Okay, so back over to Bern, Switzerland. Jenny Richner, do or die here in the second point. Let's give her music. Oh, wow. Yes! Great stuff from Jenny. Going for the speed flow. Once again, huge variety. That standing Gaitis, Gotis eludes her the first time, but she gets it the second time. There was so many catches, so much content in this 10-second block. Great job, Jenny.
Wow, and she gets the chair this time, and I think maybe even on the other side. I might be wrong. Someone will go back and correct me, but if she did, that's especially amazing. Not only did she miss it before, she's like, I don't want the judges to dock me for variety. I'm just going to do it on the other side. And that was a lot of great catches with the Gotis. I mean, I think she's going to get a few votes and maybe even win the point. I mean, it's hard to beat so many catches.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'll be curious what the judges say.
Yeah. This is a tough one. Let's kick it over to Freddie to see how the judges felt in aggregate.
Again, we have a split decision. Not all the judges agree. We have again 2 points and 3 points. I mean, we've seen from Jenny just a huge amount of variety and also a huge amount of risk. That's also the way we judge in our usual competitions. We have to rise up the points for speed flow because the risk is rising with each catch attempt. And this was, I didn't even count many catches, and she dropped one and then she showed immediately, oh, there's still enough time to show you I can do a Gaitis. And then she hit it. Wow, very nice round. She earned also my point, even though Mayra had a super smooth round again. And also, I have to say her tiny room is much more dangerous to hit your arms or legs somewhere on a chair or a table or whatever. And also, I think for me, it was the first time in the tiny room battle that we've seen a perfect music hit from Mayrav. Not sure if it was maybe also because of the streaming thing, but to me it looked just perfect music hit. However, the judges, as I said, have a split decision. 2 points went to Mayrav and 3 points to Jenny.
Okay, Jenny Richner with the speed flow to press the 3rd point. Congratulations. You have tied it up. It is now 1-1 here in this battle. Jenny, you're up in the 3rd and final point. Okay, just walks it off with a casual twirl. This is just a great competition. I'm so fired up. This is, I mean, the Swiss style is really showing itself in true form. She's doing a lot of the same moves that we saw her sister do, and just as well, I might add. Wow, she's put some solid pressure on Mayrav, I would say.
Yeah, but I think this is where the repetition rule really hurts you. She didn't repeat herself very much, but I think she used so many of her heinous catches in the last battle that she was really restricted in what she could show here. We also saw the twirl a little bit, but she found ways to make variations that we hadn't seen before. She does the twirl, she puts a brush in there, she shows on a leg catches on both sides. Perfectly executed, really clean move, definitely putting the pressure on. And I just got to say, this is just amazing what we're seeing out of Switzerland. I just am blown away by these players. I love their style. And this is the way they're playing is really going to help them down the line when they start getting these delay skills and kind of have the strength and power to set themselves, because it's all about catching in this sport. And these players know how to catch everything.
Okay, Mayrav, you know what you need to do. You saw Jenny play. This is it. 3rd and final point here. You're up. Nice stuff there. Oh, okay. I spoke just a little too soon because she did go for that last catch right on the last second. There was like a little tiny bobble on that last one, but for the most part, very clean. Once again, this is going to be a difficult decision for our judges.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I were judging, I'd have better notes, and I feel like maybe I have a little bit easier time, but it's tough. I kind of wish Mayrav had shown us a little more, and I think she does too. I think she was doing the analysis in her head, trying to throw in a little more content. I think it was really smart to do the 2 behind the backs on both sides, showing that symmetry. Very clean move, perfectly executed. But I don't know. It's going to be close.
But it's one of those things similar to the Lisa versus Julie, where, you know, we saw Jenny mostly sticking with speed flow based moves, whereas Mayrav is showing a different level of delay control. Like, I don't know how the judges will.
Without a doubt, Mayrav showed us a deeper skill set of freestyle, and the judges will definitely take that into consideration. But it's tough. I mean, it's about the 10-second block that you do.
Speed flow is exciting.
It's speed flow. We're always talking about speed flow, and the Swiss contingent is showing us how it's done, even in the tiny room by yourself.
Okay, so taking this one over to our judging panel, Freddie Finner, do we have a winner for this quarterfinal matchup?
We do. We've seen 2 solid rounds from both of them again. 2 different styles, that's obvious. And it's not easy to judge that. All judges agree on that. It could have gone either way, but in the end, Mayrav made it this time. Congratulations.
Wow, Mayrav Pinhas, congratulations to you. Well won. You've earned yourself a spot in the semifinals, but huge props once again to Jenny Richner. Really well played. You're going to be an excellent player. We will see you in the next battle challenge. So let's circle back up and do the matchup of not reigning champion, but the one seed, Bianca Struns versus Julie Festus. So Julie, you will play first here in this matchup. This is your second round matchup. Congrats again on winning the first one. And you're up now. We'll give you some music. Wow, really creative combination there from Julie. Once again with the X disc, but I'll just say for one of those moves to be able to set it up and then stick that behind the back hold. Yes, it's a cone in the center of the disc, but that's not an easy move even so.
Yeah, I agree. She actually is showing some freestyle skills that do translate to the Sky Styler, being able to find the center on these sets. She's not just showing the delay part, but there's definitely a real freestyle skill there that is comparable and just a well-constructed move. I mean, that's another good part about the X disc. You can practice kind of before your skill sets there. How do you build a combo? How do you build something that's cool to look at and tells the story beginning, middle, end? Really like it. Very solid catch. But she's going up against Bianca. So let's take it over to her and see what she has to show for us.
In the Czech Republic, from Berlin, Germany, Bianca Struns. Absolutely beautiful move from Bianca. She only needed 5 seconds. You can tell that she's well on her way to maybe winning this whole challenge from the moment she throws the disc. There's just so much spin on that, so much confidence and control, and Bianca is looking very strong here in the first point.
Yeah, I got to follow up on the talk about that throw. I mean, that's the throw of someone who has put in a lot of hours freestyling. Not only does it have a ton of spin, it just stops right in front of her, full spin, no wobble, no movement, had everything she needed and more to do her move. Hits it super cleanly, does the double leg over, saving moves for later battles. And I also think just saving moves for another round. I mean, she doesn't want to show everything she has to offer now because she wants it to hit us with full impact when she busts these moves out, potentially in the finals. So great work, Bianca.
So true. So just keeping on pace. Let's quickly head it over to Freddie for the result.
What I liked is that Julie went, even though it was a fresh battle, she went for a new move that we haven't seen before. I really appreciate that. Then she had, I think, after this behind the back hold, when she took it around her body back to the front, she had a little safe catch, let's say, to set it out for the catch. And then we saw Bianca. I mean, probably Julie likes to give it to her because she's looking up to Bianca, and we all know why. Bianca is one of the best female players in the world and could easily take that point home.
Bianca Struns takes the 1-0 advantage. So without further ado, back over to the Czech Republic for Bianca's second point. Oh, so we do see Bianca's mortality. She's holding her face a little bit. I don't think she did what she wanted to do, but she still put down skills that I don't think Julie's going to be able to contest with at this point in her career.
No, I mean, just that underleg set straight into the consecutive underleg pull is going to put a big burden on Julie to try to match that with an X disc. Great move, not what she wanted, but she's getting her drops out of the way now.
Yeah. Okay, Julie, so the door's cracked open for you. You've got one more chance here to push a third point. We love your smile. We love your play. Let's do it. Oh. Wow. Julie Festus is not ready to go home yet. This was a great way to use all of the skills she has keep it clean, and really put the pressure on the judges, because Bianca, I think, had 1.5 at least drops. So for her to, once again, the same way she did that behind the back stick, she just sticks that bad attitude delay, the flexibility, the mechanics. Those are real freestyle skills, regardless of whether you're using an X-Disc.
Yeah, and she had 2 great catches. I think the first one might have been a little off somehow, but she managed to wrangle it in, no problem, didn't really disrupt anything. And then great behind the back, good consecutivity. She's building all the foundations for a great freestyle player.
All right, so difficult choice here. Let's take a look with our judging panel to see who won this second point.
I mean, one thing is clear. The point for the tinier room goes definitely to Julie. That's way tinier. And we've seen again a fresh move that we haven't seen in this competition yet from Julie. Also, a bad attitude with an X-Disc is not the easiest thing to do. Bianca didn't quite get what she wanted, and we'll give her a chance to show us more in the third round.
Okay, Julie Festus has upset the #1 seed and earned herself a point, tied it up. Julie, the Cinderella story continues. Let's do this. You're up once again in the third and final point of this battle. Let's see you play. Great stuff there from Julie. We saw her successfully go for the tipping with the X-Disc. Very cool. Hard to wrap my mind around that. She does the chest rolls, which was new, fresh for this battle. So we're going to give her new points for that. They weren't the cleanest rolls. One of them seemed to be perchance upside down. I'm not sure. But regardless, great skills from Julie. Way to play all tournament long. And let's kick it over to Bianca Stearns. You're up here in the third and final point. Oh yeah, Bianca absolutely crushes it. Love the way she knew her camera framing and went down for one knee to just be perfectly in frame for that finishing move. But great cartwheel, great spin on her throw. I think this should easily help her advance to the next round.
Easily. Love the blue disc. Love her smooth playing style. Throwing a little shade at Julie by showing a perfect roll. I think she's going to easily take the point.
Okay, Freddie, did the judges feel the same way?
Props to Julie again from all of the judges. That was a nice couple of rounds in this competition. So just keep doing what you do, and you're going to be a very, very good player in the very near future. But Bianca just took it home easily. She's a champ, and she went consecutively into the next round easily, and let's see more.
Excellent. Bianca Stearns, congratulations. You've earned a spot in the semifinals where you will take on Mayrav Pinhas. But before we get there, we've got one more quarterfinal matchup to settle. It's the matchup of Katie Gimma versus Vendela Arviskar. So Vendela, you will play first. Let's kick it over to Sweden and see you play. If you're ready, we'll give you some music. The matchup of Vendela Arviskar versus Katie Gimma. Shoot, that behind the back catch just eludes her. You can tell she's a bit disappointed with that, but still some great skills shown.
Great. She heard what the judges were saying before. She goes for the self set. Looks like it has plenty of spin, but it definitely makes her moves harder. She misses that behind the back. I love to see that little frustration when people drop it, because it means they just hate dropping. That'll drive them to be a great player. You know she can catch that every time, and it just eluded her this time. Great showing from Vendela. I'm so fired up about this battle.
Okay, so Katie Gimma, You are now up. We're in Medellin, Colombia. We're ready to see you play. Let's give her some music. Oh my goodness. Can we just go home now? That was probably clearly the heinous move we've seen so far today. She starts with the leprechaun kick and just continues to add content throughout the 10 seconds. Goes for the thumbs down, bad attitude catch high above her head. Oh my goodness, Katie. I'm scared.
Wow. I mean, as you said before, definitely the crowd favorite from last time. And I think, again, a competitor that I thought was going to go even further than she did, but she's coming back with lots of fire. I actually saw a little bit of BB influence in there. That one set that BB does a lot, she showed it perfectly. And I love the thumbs down, bad attitude, straight into looking at the camera. Good style, amazing move, and perfect flat leprechaun kick. I just can't get over that. Awesome, high risk, great move.
Let's kick it over to Freddie for the results of the first point.
First of all, thanks, Vandala, that you heard us. You showed us 2 great moves from your own sets. That was amazing. And we've seen that you're an athletic player and you can do much more. And it was a super good round, even though we dropped the last one. But Katie just left all of us speechless with, as you said, probably the greatest move we've seen all day long. And she takes the point with that easily, especially with the view into the camera right after this super high bad attitude catch. Very, very nice.
Katie Gimma, congratulations. You've earned the advantage. You're up 1-0. It's your turn to play. We're kicking it back over to Medellin, Colombia. Música, por favor. Okay, awesome stuff once again from Katie. Risk level 211. I just can't believe she even went for some of that stuff, but check out on the replay this amazing overhand, huge spin on that. To be able to set that to yourself in a tiny room is hard in and of itself.
This is a psychopathic move. You don't go for a heel tip upside down straight into another foot tip in a tiny room indoor challenge. That is insane. She has no sense of what is easy, what is hard. She just goes for it. I love her style. Yes, she dropped it, but she showed so much there that there's still going to be a ton of pressure on Vendela.
Vendela, you got to see your competitor play. You know what you need to do to force a third point, and we're ready for you to play. Oh yes, nice laser catch, kind of right in the face of the camera. That was an interesting round. I'm not sure which way this one will go.
Me neither. I actually respect her for taking the throw from Joachim. She did both. She did a self throw and another throw. Also pro move to reject the first throw from Joachim. The judges should not dock her from that. That's
Right.
really Joachim's fault, not her fault. Just 2 great catches, really fast, good flow, consecutivity. I do think it's going to be tough because we saw such difficulty from Katie. But for me, 2 Hain catches on very consecutive moves might weigh in favor. And maybe, just maybe, I want to see a third point.
This is kind of that Chesko versus Aton.
Mhm.
Like, Katie Gimma's moves are kind of unbeatable in
Yeah.
a certain way, but she did drop it. Will execution win out and allow Vendela a chance at a third point versus Katie? Let's kick it over to Freddie to find out.
Well, I don't have all the votes yet, but I have to say, Katie, that was insane. That was just such a high risk. And even though you dropped it, that was a huge risk. And you could clearly see that you are able to do that move in this tiny room. That's amazing. Vandala, for you, it was a little unfortunate, but it was your choice that you take the throw from someone else. So we, as a judge, I have to consider it as a drop right in the beginning. Then you threw it back and you got the second one, which took you.
Daniel is shaking his head. No way.
That is so brutal, Freddie. Are you? Oh my goodness.
It took her a very long time. That means also the second catch was even out of the time frame. So she had two moves. It was nicely executed, but in the end, for me, the point went to Katie because of the super high risk, and it was just better within the time frame. And now I have to look on my sheet and calculate again. I have 2 points for Katie so far, 1 point for Vendela, and now I have to check a second point for Vendela, and the last one is Vendela. So 3 points
Vendela
for Vendela, and we can
Arvidsjaur.
see a third round.
So Vendela Arvidsjaur ties it up. Execution gets it done 1-1. Couldn't be more exciting here. So Vendela, you are up once again. As a reminder, you cannot repeat moves in one battle. All new moves. You are up first. This is the third and final point of this battle to earn yourself a spot in the semis. Let's see her play.
Whoa.
Oh yes, very nice Gaitis with great form to finish it off. It looked like she was trying to do an upside down take. That was an upside down throw, but it just gets away from her. Once again, that's going to be costly.
Yeah, and this time I do agree with Freddie because she went for the delay there. She
Right.
tried to take it in. It didn't look like the best throw. She could have let it go, but she went for it. She couldn't quite corral it. Also, I feel like I saw at the beginning her yelling at Dad, "Don't mess this up for me, Dad. Give me a good throw." It didn't quite work for her, but she still got some great content in there. Just a screaming Gotis there. Comes in with such power, just rips it out. I'm really glad she got that move. She definitely put some pressure on. It's not going to be a gimme for Katie, and it's just great to see her out here playing. She's got such a great style, and I really hope we see more from her.
Okay, so Katie Gimma, you know what you need to do to win this battle. You are now up in the third point.
Wow.
Oh yes, absolutely beautiful move from Katie. That will definitely be enough to earn herself a spot in the semis.
I mean, she's one of the best players in the world. That's amazing. Her self throw, I wish I could throw like that. Goes into the Mondover, gets a perfect crow, and then look at this roll. It is just glue. Just hits every part of her arm. That is amazing. Should be pretty easy for the judges. Let's take it over to Freddie.
Freddie, coming your way.
Yeah, this time it was easy. Vendela chose again to get a throw from someone else. It was clever to go upside down because she knew that she needs some difficulty to beat Katie with her crazy diff moves. It was a smart choice to continue with the self set to show us at least something, and there was something in the end. She hit a nice move, finishing with a Gaitis. That was nice, but Katie, come on, that was ridiculous. The judges are speechless. It was smooth and confident, difficult, and just gorgeous. And yeah, the point goes to Katie easily.
Katie Gimma, congratulations. You are our fourth semifinalist. Vendela, thank you so much for playing. You played great in all the rounds, and we hope to see you in the next challenge. So we're moving right along. Let's get it done. We've got the semifinals, Bianca Struns versus Mayrav Pinhas, and Katie Gimma versus Joya Richner. So let's do, I'd actually like to do the battle of Bianca versus Mayrav. Mayrav, you will play first. This is a best 2 of 3, same exact thing as the previous rounds. So heading back to Israel, Mayrav, you're up here in the first point of this semifinal matchup. Dang. Just didn't seem like Mayrov actually did any of what she wanted to do there.
I blame the music. Ryan, give me a better song than this. I was not feeling it. Clearly, Mayra wasn't either. But yeah, she didn't execute, which is really surprising because one of her strengths as a player that we've seen in Tiny Room over and over again is her just ability to catch clean moves. Didn't work out for her there. Door wide open for Bianca.
This is the benefit of getting that top seed. You get to watch your competitor play, and Bianca has a pretty easy strategy decision here to try to win up this first point. Bianca, you're up. One moment, please. We need to put Bianca on the video screen. There she is. Oh, yes. So, very interesting here because once again, I had to look at my own ugly face for the first half of it. But even seeing the second half of Bianca's move, I'm fairly confident that that will be enough to win this first point.
Easy point for the judges. This is Bianca, and her style is so smooth, so clean. Hits beautiful catches, very consecutive. Judges will have no problem picking a winner here.
Kicking it over to Freddie for the result.
I mean, everybody should be nervous when she has to compete against Bianca. That's what we've seen from Mayrav, I guess. So this time the point goes easily to Bianca, but we are all looking forward for the next round.
Okay, Bianca, so you have the 1-0 advantage here in this semifinal matchup, and we're heading back to the Czech Republic to see you play again. Ryan, some better music. Oh, what? How did she catch that? It looked like it was down to the last quarter Z. She somehow kept it clean and made it look good. What did you see, James?
Well, you know what? I actually wish I saw a little bit more. I think she might have gotten eased or lullabied into sleep there because Mayrav didn't hit her first move because she didn't use the whole time. She left 5 seconds on the table. And I think some of those leg overs might be repetitions from the prior round. She's still got a lot of content in there, but I do think the door is open if Mayrav hits a clean move and uses the full 10 seconds.
Totally agree. So back over to Israel. Mayrav, you are up in the second point of this battle. Great stuff here from Mayrav. Going a little bit over time, but I don't think it's going to matter. She just really filled the full 10 seconds to your point and did some really nice moves. I mean, might not be as clear-cut as I think, but I just love that flamingo pull into that Tron catch. I think she's going to have enough to tie it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's a little closer. This is one of those ones that's hard to judge because the way Bianca plays is so much more smooth and shows that she is a more experienced, talented player. But if I just go move for move, it would probably go to Mayrav. But for instance, I love that flamingo pull. It's really hard, but it's kind of the beginner's version of that pull. I just see the way the disc comes out. It doesn't kind of fully extend out. It wasn't quite there, but it easily could be enough for the judges. I don't know. So let's take it over, Freddie, see what they have to say.
Yeah, it was hard to judge. In the end, it was a question of content, and Bianca chose to stop pretty early. Otherwise, she could have taken the points easier. We have a split decision here, but Mayrav got more points for more content.
Mayrav, congratulations. You've tied it up. It's 1-1, and you now play first in the third and final point. And right now, we're about to figure out who our first finalist is here at the Women's Challenge. Mayrav, we're giving you music, and you're ready to play. Wow, I love that last bit. She goes for the chest roll directly into the catch. She did play way past the music. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that drop that happened about 7 seconds after time.
You know, not the best way to play it, to go for that last move and hit the drop, but I think she might know that after that first drop, it's going to be really hard for her to beat Bianca, and she wanted to show a little more. I remember a couple years in Worlds not having a good round, just deciding, well, it's already over, time's up, I'm going for my double spinning Kaitosis. I don't care what happens, and it worked out for her, or didn't work out for her this time, but sometimes you just want to show that little extra ounce just to say, yeah, maybe I won't win this point, but I got game.
All right, Bianca. So the door's open. You know what you need to do to earn yourself that spot in the finals. Let's give her some music. Oh yeah, great move from Bianca. Great lacer. This is just classic BB on display for us all. We have a finalist in BB, I would say.
For sure. Easy win for her, really confident. And I'm really excited to see maybe a Katie Gimma BB matchup, because I really see a lot of similarities. I noticed it here on her throw. I mean, both BB and Katie have this super power throw, gets a great move out of it, and I think she'll easily win. Let's take it over to Freddie.
Yeah, it was a little unfortunate for Myra what happened. And I think you're right, James. She just wanted in the end to show something to finish this round and yeah, to show a couple more of her skills. But Bianca, darling, you in the finals, you cannot stop after half of your time. Please fill your time frame. This time it was just enough.
Wow, good note from Freddie. There you have it. But Bianca Struns has earned herself a spot in the finals. Congratulations, and well played as well to Mayrav. So let's, without further ado, get to the other semifinal matchup of Katie Gimma versus Joya Richner. Joya, you will play first. So back over to Bern, Switzerland, where we will see you play. Let's give her some music. Great combo from Joya. We've seen this combo before. Unfortunately, it was the easy part that she actually dropped, that single spinning the catch.
Yeah, she got the hard part. We saw her miss the just brush into the behind the back earlier, but she gets it this time. It's too bad she got that drop, but it's got to feel good for Katie, because the hard thing about going against these Swiss players is you know they're going to put 5 to 10 catches in their 10-second block, and it puts a lot of pressure on you. So the door is open, but Katie's definitely going to have to show us some moves.
Okay, Katie, from Medellin, you are up in the first point.
Whoa.
I love it. Katie Gimma is putting on a clinic for us right now. Ladies and gentlemen, she goes for the kind of triple fake pass directly into the kick tip. So much composure. Look at this on the replay. Wow.
She's going to be better than me. I mean, that is an unbelievable move. She puts it way in the air for that kick tip. Just a clean roll. I'm speechless. Amazing point.
Okay, so Freddie Finner, who is the winner of this first point?
Yeah, we've seen again the same style from Joya, with a huge variety, with a huge amount of catches and a big risk level. And then we saw Katie doing an incredible move right in the beginning. And then after this roll, she just decided, oh, stop. I think it's enough already. And she just caught the disc with kind of a save the catch, smiling into the camera again. And she was sure to make that point. And I am certainly too. The point goes to Katie.
Katie Gimma takes the point. Congratulations. So Katie's up 1-0. And back to you. You play first in the second point.
What? What?
Wow. Oh my
Stop.
goodness. The risk level through the roof with Katie Gimma. She did that chest roll directly into the back roll. I was going to maybe try to dock her for repetition, but I think the way she puts those moves together, they're so different. And oh my goodness, there was one bobble on that third kick tip, but I still think even with the 2 drops, she's put a lot of pressure on Joya.
Having found myself in the middle of the night doing a kick tip challenge with you and Riley O'Neill a few days ago, I could say 3 kick tips in a row like that is super hard. But those rolls, I will say right now, Katie Gimma is one of the best rollers in the world. I didn't know she had that in her game already. Those rolls were super clean, super smooth. She's out here like Steve Hubbard, just laying down the buttery rolls. Amazing. Pressure is on, but she did have a couple drops. So let's see if Joya has enough.
Okay, Joya, back to burn. You're up here to try to tie it up. Nice stuff, Joya. Well played. I don't think it's going to be enough, but it was still a really lovely performance. I just can't say enough good things about this Swiss style, the new Swiss generation, future champions without a doubt.
Yeah, and I'm going to add, she's got a little Dame Lillard in her game. She just has this ferocious look. She gives the camera so calm, smooth, cool. Just I hit my moves. What else do you need to see? I can't wait to see more from her. I don't think it's going to be enough either, but just a great player coming out in her first tournament, just shredding this weekend and last weekend. Hope we see a lot more from Joya.
All right, so back to the judges. Here you have it, Freddie. Who is the finalist that will go up to face Bianca?
I want to send a message to both of these ladies. Joya, well done. You did not disappoint. That was a great way to start your tournament, to move through your tournament, and you're going to be a great player very, very soon. High potential. Katie, whenever you need a partner, please let me know. The risk level, the wow factor, this sweet butter rolls, and this, great move, and way worth a finalist.
Wow. Okay. So Katie Gimma versus Bianca Strutz. That is your women's final matchup. So we've done it. We've made it here. It's been a long day of competition, and we still got the pro to get to. Thank you, everyone at home, for staying energized and staying with us. Let's get down to it. For the sake of time, this is going to be a best 2 out of 3 matchup. Just the same way we've been doing. Best 2 out of 3. It's all come down to this, Bianca Strutz versus Katie Gimma. So Katie, representing Medellin, Colombia, as well as the United States, you will play first. Best 2 of 3 matchup here in the finals of the Tiny Room Battle Challenge. Let's give her some music. Yeah, absolutely. Very smartly played. And she kind of combined 2 combos we saw from previous iterations. She does the turnover, and then
the leprechaun kick upside down. Not quite as clean as we saw before, but it was upside down, which adds just a whole nother layer of difficulty. I love that she's showing different combos or variations of combos in every round, just showing the depth of her game. Super smooth move. I have no idea who's going to win this round. These are 2 superstar players. But, I'm just going to give another shout out to tinyroomchallenge.com. Go in and put your votes. I already put mine down for Katie Gimma. I'm on the Katie train. She's going up against BB, so who knows? But Katie is got just the fire behind her right now.
Okay, Bianca Strutz, you've seen your competitor play. You know what you need to win this first point. Let's give her some music. Oh, wow. Bianca Strutz listens to Freddie. She fills up the time. She goes for the guidance. She goes for the Olivia. How did she reach out far enough to get that
it was
pole?
too much. That's why BB's a world champion. She says, okay, new kid to the block. You think you're hot stuff, but you're still going against a world champion. Super smooth moves, adding a spinning pole, consecutive, restricted. Haven't seen much of that today. Hits a big guidance, and then just to show Freddie he's a fool. She knows how to win these. Hits a beautiful Olivia, super hard catch, and I think that's gonna be enough.
Oh, brother. Tough choice here. Let's take it over to Freddie to see what the judges think.
It's also fun when you're in the Zoom call, not on the stream, then you can see in the very little windows the other people. And when Katie plays, I've seen our tiny room champion, Juliana Korva, with like just staring into the camera. She can't believe what she's seeing. And that's how we all feel when we see Katie playing. And the same happened when Bianca played. I saw myself in a little window after she hit the first move, and I said, go on, as I said. And she kind of heard me, or she heard me when I said it the last round, and she hit another catch. And this was the factor that brought her the points. And that's why it was just enough to beat Katie in the first round.
Oh, wow. Great job. Great point. Very well fought. So Bianca Strunz has the 1-0 advantage here in the women's final. Best 2 out of 3, though. Bianca, you are up first here in the second point. Let's give her some music. Yeah. Great stuff once again from Bianca. This time she did leave about 4 seconds on the table. Regardless, very well played. Let's take a look at the instant replay.
Yeah, I think this was smart. It's really hard when you go first, especially in the finals, because you know your competitor is going to bring a big move. She hits a lot of great moves. I love that super restricted set she does there. Hits a clean catch and no execution errors. So really it's going to come down to, can Katie hit a Hain move with a just as clean, and she could probably beat that with the 4 seconds on the table. But if she drops it, that's what's going to be hard. And that's what you want to do with your first move. You want to put the pressure on that the competitor has to hit their move. And BB's done exactly that right here.
Absolutely. Very well played. So Katie Gimma, you know what you need to do. We're all rooting for you. Here's your chance to tie it up and perch a 3rd point in the final of this challenge.
What?
Oh no! It's such a shame. I actually saw Katie post a video of this exact combo on Facebook and hit the shit out of it. I know she's got it in her. She almost had it.
Wow.
She did the hard part and then it just slips out of her hand. And I think at that point, she already kind of had lost a little bit of that confidence. You can see her holding her face. The spinning scarecrow gets away from her. And that's probably going to be the end of
yeah, I think so. I mean, it's too bad. I love that she went out swinging. She was going for a really difficult move. And I actually think, unfortunately, this would have been a really good 5 or 7 point battle, because I think one of Katie's strengths is she has so many Hain moves that are all completely different. But here, BB's firepower, her just old school consecutive putting moves together game is almost certainly going to be enough. But let's take it to Freddie to get the final word from our judges.
I mean, I think it was exactly the right way from Katie to answer what Bianca showed us. She knew I have to show up with a huge move, with another difficult move. Paul Kenny also said, I really would like to give it to Katie because of this turnover. We also see from Paul very often. It was a great way to answer. She didn't quite get it how she wanted it, but if she would have caught it, if she would have made this move, then she would have gotten the points. I wish we could see a 7-point battle, but that's not the case this time. So the point goes to Bianca. Congratulations to our new champion, Bianca.
Bianca Strutz, ladies and gentlemen, is your new Tiny Room Women's Champion. Congratulations, BB. Very well earned. You are a champion, a world champion, and now a Tiny Room champion as well. I hope you're proud. We're proud of you. Thank you so much for joining the challenge. So, wow, what an exciting way to finish the women's challenge. We've still got three more actually huge battles left to play. I've got a wild card here. We're kicking Paul Kenny off of the judging panel. He's out of here. Get him off the Zoom. I would like to introduce Gina Sample. Gina Sample, many-time world champion. In fact, the only female player to ever win an open division FPA tournament. We are so honored to have you joining us here to judge the epic finale of the Pro Division here at the Tiny Challenge. Gina, how are you?
Thank you. I don't know what to say. It's been so long since I've seen everybody. It's great to be here, and to thank you so much for inviting me to participate. So this will be fun.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to see all these women too, and so international now. And I wish it was like that when I was playing. But it's great to be here and to see everyone.
Cool. Thanks, Gina. I saw a really great video Toddy Brodeur posted of you with Dave Lewis and Arthur Coddington.
Oh, yeah.
And we're
I just saw
we're
that,
lucky
yeah.
because we've got Dave Lewis and Tom Leitner in the first matchup here. So Ryan, let's take a quick look at the bracket. Dave Lewis will take on Tom Leitner, the old school, who is going to be repping the old school here in the finals. And then we'll take it over to the new school, Edo Turi versus Francesco Santolin, two Italian superstars of our sport. We have made it the final matchups, the semifinals. It's going to be best 2 out of 3, just like we've been doing. So Tom Leitner versus Dave Lewis, best 2 out of 3. Dave Lewis, you will play first. Let's kick it over to Los Angeles, California, and give him some music. Oh, wow. Huge against the spin combo from my man Dave. I can't believe he dropped that. I'm so surprised.
Me too. I love this. He missed this Phil Rizzuto pull last time. Hits it really cleanly here. Gets a great skid off of it right over by that desk. Don't know how he pulled that off, but he missed the triple fake, and I think he is going to regret that because we know that Tom Leitner does not drop it in the tiny room. But we'll see. Maybe history will not repeat itself.
So Tom Leitner, you are up here in the first point. Let's give him some music. Oh, so he goes for the crash and burn inverted roll, which does escape him and will make this a lot closer matchup than perhaps it needed to be.
I disagree. I actually love seeing this. I think Tom Leitner has a little bit of pride on the line. He knows that Dave Lewis dropped it. He could have gone with a much smoother, easier move, which he's done in all the prior rounds where he's easily gone through. But I think he's thinking, this is Dave Lewis. I've been competing against him my whole life. I'm not going to just go with the easy move for the win. I'm going to put a dagger in it. He does miss the inverted roll, but he showed a lot of against the spin moves in there. And I just got to say, for me, watching these two guys compete is so amazing. When we started playing, it was all about these guys. It was all about the Tom Leitners, the many people named Dave who have more world titles than I could count. Great to still see them at it. I hope in 25 years, you and I are meeting up in some virtual reality tournament, just looking like two geezers. But man, these guys don't. They are shredding. They are still the best players in the world. I don't know how they keep it up. Great first battle.
Okay, Freddie. So who is the winner of this first point?
Wow, what an amazing show off here. Tom Leitner and Dave Lewis both showed some great skills right in the beginning, and both didn't hit the catch that they wanted. In the end, it was Tom's advantage with a little more complexity in his combo and a little more content, and the extended presentation in the end, even though he did not catch it. And the point goes to Tom. Let's see the next one.
Tom Leitner takes the 1-0 advantage. This is a best 2 out of 3. So Tommy, you can earn yourself a spot right back in the final with the right move here. Oh, wow. We're getting a view at his beautiful hand-painted disc collection on the wall. Very, very lovely. A little trippy. So Tommy, you are up once again here in the second point.
Wow.
No way. Oh my
He's
goodness.
gone. He's gone.
Oh my goodness. Oh
That is the tipping combo we have been waiting for. I have been harping on Tom Leitner this tiny room, last tiny room. Show me the Tom Leitner tips we all know and love. There they are. And I just got to say, I don't know what Dave Lewis is planning, but Dave Lewis and Tom Leitner, as I said yesterday, are two of the best tippers on the planet. If Dave Lewis also goes for a tipping combo, I am going to just start weeping tears of joy. No pressure, Dave. Do whatever you are planning because Tom Leitner just laid down the gauntlet. Here we go. Let's take it over to Dave Lewis.
Do or die situation, Dave. Let's give him some music. Oh, yes! He's done it! Double spinning pole, double spinning catch with plenty in between. Wow! If you wanted to put the pressure on the judges, you've done a good job, Dave. This is not going to be easy. Oh, man.
Wow, this is super tough. I mean, I think in my book, I might give it to Dave, and here is really why. In the tiny room, those double spinning poles and catches are so much more difficult. And the only thing I would dock Lewis for is he did have to kind of corral it on one of them. But I also think, and I could be wrong, that maybe Tom Leitner had, if not a corral, like a little bit of a hand switch or something that wasn't exactly what he wanted. So they both had a little error, but the judges could easily go both ways. I mean, tips are such high risk. It was such a hand combo. The 5 spinning combo in 5 seconds. I mean, this is Dave Lewis and Tom Leitner. What do you do about that?
Okay, so let's kick it over to Freddie. Was it enough to push a third point? He doesn't know yet.
Of course he doesn't know it. Oh, he does know.
I do know, but the judges having a very hard time. We see 2 world champions, and I heard that both of them together earned 21 was just
37.
Tom. Together they earned 37 world titles in open divisions only. I mean, this is ridiculous, and we've seen a ridiculous tipping combo. Tom just left the room after that. That's exactly what James asked for a couple rounds now. And then we saw Dave in a tiny room with a couple double spinnings here, finishing this. We have a split decision, but Dave did push it to a third round and earns that point.
Dave Lewis takes the point and ties it up. Could not be more exciting. Oh my goodness. So Dave Lewis, you are up first. This is the final point of this battle and will determine who is going to the finals. So let's give Dave Lewis some music here. That spinning scarecrow was after time. He's not going to get great credit for that. And unfortunately, there was a couple things I can pick apart about this. First, he goes for the Oliver pull, doesn't like the set, and just takes it back. He does ultimately do that, but when he goes for that Mondover, it just never quite got upside down into his hand as a delay, and it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, not quite the one he wanted. Didn't really show what he needed. He also, I think, did a repeat on the spinning leg over pull. That would have hurt him if he hit the combo. Left the door open for Tom. But I just got to say, I could sit here and watch 2 hours of battle between Dave Lewis and Tom Leitner. And just on that last point, Tom Leitner, that's got to be the best move we've seen in Tiny Room that didn't win the point. And I almost regret what I said. Looking back, maybe Tom should have won. And I'm kind of glad the door's open because he's just playing out of his mind. Let's see if he can just put the dagger in. Going over to you, Tom.
So giving him some music, Tom Leitner from Rome, Italy, your turn to play. Oh yes, great crash and burn, bad attitude just after the time block. But I really think Tommy did just what he needed to do to earn himself a spot in the final, playing on the edge the whole time. Just really good stuff. There was one moment where it looked like it might get away from him, but he was able to hold it together right there. I can't believe he kept it up. Oh, that's championship style play from Tom Leitner.
Exactly. And I think this is a little bit of the difference between these two players in the last decade. Tom Leitner has still been in it. He's been at so many tournaments. He's still just got that sharpness as a competitive player. Dave Lewis, we're so happy to have back, but we can see just a little bit of rust around the edges. He's not that Terminator we remember, but we know he'll get back to that, and we hope we keep seeing him out here. He is just one of the all-time greats. We love seeing him, but I think Tom took that point. Freddie, let us know if we're right.
For the official result.
Yeah, Dave showed in the very beginning a repetition of his first move, as you mentioned, James. And after that, there was an attempt for the pull before he really executed it. And yeah, some little errors. And then he finished it with a nice spinning scarecrow out of the time frame. But let's put it like that. If I judged it like both of the players played or caught the disc with a nice catch, just 1 second behind. So that's kind of equal for me.
Right.
But Tom just had the cleaner move with against moves as well, and a huge control with his inverted stuff, nice flexibility in his legs, and he earned that point very well. Congratulations, Tom.
Tom Leitner has done it. He's back in the finals, ladies and gentlemen, to defend his title, and let us see who he will go up against. So we've got Edo Turi versus Francesco Santolin. I'm so excited for this matchup. In a way, this kind of reminds me of me versus you. Like you being Edo and me being Chesco. Like Edo just being the paramour of practice and technique and execution. And Francesco, so risky, so exciting, playing on edge. I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm so excited to see. Let's see. We've got Edo Turi has to play first. So we're heading over to Rovereto, Italy. Edo Turi, you are up, my friend. Let's give him some music.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. A huge first move from Edo and extremely strategic, I might add.
So
because
smart.
he goes straight for the throat, just taking a Francesco style move and going right for it. Double leg over, kick tip, not with the left foot, but back with that first foot. It's even harder. Oh my goodness, what a great combo from Edo.
This is so smart. We were talking about this yesterday. What would we do if we were against Chesko? We know he has these unbeatable moves. So the only thing you can do is do those moves and then add more to it. That's exactly what Edo did. And he did it as his first move, starting off first. It's just so smart. Edo, man, awesome move. He just put together the best of his game and a good piece of Chesko's game. And man, what a Haynes start. Chesko, what do you got? Dig deep.
Okay, from the Frisbee Temple in Milan, Italy, ladies and gentlemen, Francesco Santolin. Okay, so what he did do that I liked is when he dropped the first foot cuff over, he goes for the same move. So he's showing us that he can do that move successfully, but he's also not grabbing anything else from the bank that he might need for a later round. He goes for the flamingosis, which he gets. No way it's enough to beat Edo.
No way, no way. And we know he can do better. He has a lot of risk in his game, so he's not going to hit all the moves all the time. Doesn't get it there, but you know what? That's a good thing because Edo's move was so Haynes. It's almost impossible to beat. And like you said, Chesko's left a little bit for later on, and he's probably going to need it because Edo looks like he has come very prepared for this. So let's get a confirmation from Freddie. Who took this point?
Yeah, I also like the smart decision from Francesco to just do it again, to just scare your opponent a little bit and show, yeah, I can do whatever I want to do. But also Edo just started with the right thing to do against Francesco and added some crazy shit. It was full of content, spins and high legs, huge jumps, and a nice catch right on the end of his time frame. That was a super strong point for Edo.
Edo Turi takes the point and the advantage. 1-0 Edo. Edo, if you can win this point, you will earn yourself a spot to take on Tom Leitner, the defending champion, in the final. You're up. Let's give him some music.
Whoa, no.
Oh, no. The double spinning triple fake. He can't catch it, but still a great move here from Edo.
Yeah, he still put a lot on the table there. These are the two fastest, cleanest double spinning flat pulls we've seen in this competition so far. I really love how Edo does it because I think a lot of players fall into this trap. If they do the double spinning pull, they hold it for a second, they do it again, and it kind of is a bunch of separate moves put together, whereas Edo is really stringing them together a lot better than most players. And he got 6 spins in there. That triple fake was in his hands, popped out, and I just got to say, tiny room for tiny room. Edo's is way, way smaller than what Chesko's working with, and that might be a factor with the judges. So door cracked open, but Chesko, he's got to hit his move right here to take it to a third point.
Okay, well said. All great points. Heading back to Milan, Francesco, do or die. Let's see what you got. Ooh, there it is. Very nicely done from Francesco. We saw this move win him the spot into the semifinals yesterday. He does the behind the back tip directly into an around the world kick tip. So difficult, but there was a little bit of sloppiness just as he had to kind of nest a bit to get into that invert roll, seals it up successfully with the chair. This will be a tough decision for our judges.
Yeah, I think it's going to be enough, but it was a little sloppy. The kick wasn't exactly the way he wanted it, and he did have to do a little bit of the nesting, and he got the catch. I wish he had gone for just a little bit more difficult catch. I think if he got a Gaitis or a Scarecrow, or even that triple fake that Edo missed, no problem gets through. Like I said, I still think it's enough, but it's going to be a little close. That drop for Edo is really going to hurt him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I want to see a third
Oh,
battle,
I know.
obviously, and also just Edo. I mean, he spanned twice. He spanned twice the same way. He spanned twice the same way. He tried to catch under. There's something about Francesco's move in that case that was just more unique for me. I give the point to Cesco personally.
I agree with you. Let's see if the judges agree.
Okay, head into Freddie.
Well, that was a tough one. It's two of the best players of Europe, of the world, competing against each other, two very different styles. Super clean move from Edo, just missed the catch, but it was 6.5 spins in the end in this super tiny room, as James mentioned, very much smaller than the room from Francesco. But then Cesco came with this crazy behind the back tip around the world tip kick thing. If he would have executed it a little better, it would have been unbeatable. Like this, he had a little wobble. He had to save it a little bit. Edo had the drop. In the end, we had to consider which was just a little bit higher than the other one. And we have a unanimous decision, but all of the judges agreed that it was a hard decision. The point goes to Edo.
Edo Turi. So Edo Turi, by unanimous vote, takes the spot in the finals. Francesco is ousted once again. Absolutely brutal. I can't believe it.
Wow. I mean, if you just take move for move everything we've seen from Cesco, he might have the best tiny room resume of anybody, but he just keeps finding the wrong opponent at the wrong time, hitting the drop at the wrong time. We fools both thought he was going to take that point, but he didn't. But we know Cesco will come back. Please, Cesco, we need you. You have so many unbeatable moves. You keep bringing them. They will win. I just can't believe how amazing you are as a player. I can't wait to have you back. But Edo Turi, who is well on his way to becoming the best player in the world, one of the best players of all time, doing a lot of amazing things for the sport. And he has found himself in the finals of Tiny Room. And Tom Leitner versus Edo Turi. We have one of the greatest players of all time against one of the future greatest players of all time at the peak of his powers. New school versus old school. Both have such consecutive restricted styles. This is going to be a really awesome battle. And I think it's going to be a very apples to apples comparison. I think we're going to see very similar move types, and it's going to be about who can make their move just a little hainer and a little cleaner. So let's get to it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've made it here. We've made it to the final. Based on time, we have enough time for a best 2 out of 3 matchup. That's what we got. It's
Brutal.
all going to come down to 3 points, just the way we've been doing it. Best 2 out of 3 matchup. You got to show us your best. We're here. I'm nervous as hell. Edo Turi, you will play first. Ladies and gentlemen, from Milan, Italy, from Rovereto, Italy, Edo Turi, the finals of the Tiny Room Battle Challenge Professional Division. So psyched to see what you got. Let's give him some music.
Whoa!
Goes for the double spinning barrel Gaitis. Doesn't catch it. I've totally lost my voice. James, you take over.
This is amazing. I mean, one thing I noticed in the last round that Edo is bringing here is the respect he is showing to his opponent. He is going all out, all in on the very first move, not leaving anything to chance. And one thing that was especially impressive about that move is he didn't quite get the first move. It was a little bit sloppy, and a lot of players would be reining it in at that point to just try to corral it, finish the move. Not Edo. He goes straight back into a double spinning pull, hits it cleanly and goes for a double barrel guidance in the smallest room we've had today. That is so hard. We have not seen any other competitor in Tiny Room except Edo going for the double spinning barrel guidance. Even a single barrel guidance has not happened the whole weekend.
It was right in his
Unbelievable.
hand, too.
In his hand, couldn't quite get it, but the door is open for Tom Leitner.
Tommy, you're up, my friend, from Rome, Italy. Tommy Lightning Leitner. Ooh. So Tom Leitner goes for the Scarecrow just as time's expiring, maybe just a second after time. He goes for a tipping combo. It's pretty good. It wasn't as good as his last one. It wasn't as exciting as a combo as what Edo showed us, but it was certainly cleaner. Where does this lay in the balance?
I don't know. I almost wish he dropped it, because then I think it would have been easily for Edo. Edo definitely had a harder move, just really pushing himself to his limits, whereas Tom was kind of playing it a little safe. But Tom hit the move and he hit the Scarecrow. It was really clean. But it wouldn't shock me if Edo either got a few votes or even the win, because he just is pulling out the heinous moves we've seen so far. I mean, I really appreciate that he's just not leaving anything to chance, saying, I'm going to bring out my hottest move, and if I hit it, nothing is going to beat it. He didn't quite hit it. Tom did. Let's see how the judges think about it.
This is so difficult. Okay, Freddie, do you have an answer?
It is so difficult indeed. I mean, Tom saw what Edo did, and he just knows what to do in such a case, and he executed it with a nice tipping combo, not as nice as the one before, as you mentioned, and the catch was a little after the time. Edo had a little bubble in the middle, and then a drop, but the hardest catch we've seen in the whole Tiny Room
ever
competition, or in all Tiny Room competitions we've seen so far, I think. It was in his hand. The excitement factor was huge, and the judges have a split decision, and Edo earned 3 points against 2 for Tom.
Edo Turi has upset the reigning champion, and with a drop managed to win the point anyway. 1-0. Edo Turi has the advantage. He will play first here in the second point. Let's give him some music. Wow, beautiful move here from Edo. Goes for the double leg over directly into the invertele with seeming ease. Very beautiful control against the spin, juice pull, behind the back pull, behind the head pull. So much content. Seals it up with a double spinning under the leg catch. Just a great move all around.
Super clean move, pretty much perfect. Maybe just the tiniest pause before the set for the double, but it all within time, all consecutive, in still the tiniest room. I don't know how he does it. He looks so calm. Wow, so much pressure on Tom Leitner. You've won more world titles than any of us put together. If anyone can do it, it's you. Oh yeah, we get it. We get it, Tom. But come on, yeah, we know what you have in your bag of tricks. Show us the best you got.
Let's give him some music. And gentlemen, there you have it. Even Tommy Lightning Leitner is mortal. He drops it, but gosh, what a great, great battle. He had no choice but to go big. Edo Turi, it's like sometimes when you have to play first, that's, it's good to get to see your competitor, but Edo actually used that he played first to put that pressure on Tommy. And I think we're going to have a new Tiny Room champion.
I feel like even Tom's disc capitulated to Edo. It was just like, no, thank you. Like, give it to Edo. I'm out of here. Did not do as Tommy wanted it to do. And it is tough because we've seen Tommy round after round, not just in this Tiny Room, but the last Tiny Room, which he won very handily, very easily. And this is the worst combo we've seen from him, which is, I mean that as a compliment. I mean, he's come out every round hitting Hain move after Hain move. This time, just the frisbee was not with him. But you know what? If you're going to drop it a couple of times, you might as well do it there because you needed so much to topple Edo. And I'm so proud to say we'll get our confirmation for sure from Freddie that Edo is going to be our next Tiny Room champion because this is one of my favorite players. He has been such a superstar for the sport as a player, as a coach, just as an organizer. Everything he does is incredible. I can't wait for us to just retire and be like, Edo, please.
Take the keys, bro.
Take care of this beautiful sport we have. You are the future. You are the present. You are everything. Congratulations. But let's take it over to Freddie, get our final confirmation. Got to dot our I's and cross our T's.
I'm amazed, and we all are. Even Tom Leitner can get nervous if someone like Edo shows up and puts out his huge moves with a confidence like nobody else. And he just hit it. He just earned it. And he's our new champion, Edo Turi.
Congratulations once again. Eduardo Turi from Rovereto, Italy is your Tiny Room Pro Champion. Congratulations, Edo. So well deserved. You shredded all weekend long. You are our champion. Congrats again. You've brought it home for the whole country of Italy, and we will see you back to defend your title at the next Battle Challenge. Congratulations. So, James, just to say once again, this has been such a wonderful 2 weeks of competition. This challenge has come so far. I'm really proud of what we've put together. I'm so thankful for everybody who's had a part in this. The coaches, the parents, the players, the judges, the behind the scenes people like, of course, Ryan Young, our executive producer. There's so much that goes into making this happen. It's a beautiful way to get our community together. I'm fired up. I'm super psyched. And can you give us some closing words of wisdom, Mr. Wiseman?
This was such a great event for getting through COVID. I don't know what I would have done without it. Just knowing I have a freestyle tournament to look forward to and seeing all these amazing new players from all over the world that I don't think we would have gotten to see in a normal time. I mean, a lot of these players, these kids, Guy Guterman was not going to fly out from Tel Aviv as an 8-year-old to make it to the World Championship, but we got to see him play. We got to bring him in the community. All these new players. I'm so excited. I hope this tournament inspires them to make it out to the live events that are coming soon. And then also, we've talked a lot. I think this event has pushed a lot of players to develop their game, work on their game, try new moves at a time where it would have been really easy to just sit at home and be bummed out. But this event pushed people to get better. We saw so much improvement from so many players over Tiny Room 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great group of champions, a lot of all-timers, a lot of new players. And I can't wait for what's next because we have really big plans. We're going to keep this event alive, rebrand it, revamp it, make it something really awesome. And I can't wait for that. So look out for that in the future.
So with all that being said, we are signing off from Durham, North Carolina. I'm Daniel O'Neill with James Wiseman and Ryan Young. This has been the Tiny Room Battle Challenge 4. Thank you once again for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your weekend.